Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. And as always, I thank you for coming to my channel. I post this video with a very heavy heart. I just woke up out of, I guess it was my sleep for the day, because you know us musicians, we work all night and we sleep all day. So I woke up because today's my brother's birthday. I said, well, let me call him. I don't want to let it get too late in the day. So when I woke up and turned on my PC, and one of the channels that I follow was mentioning to me, and when he told me this, or when he acknowledged this, I said, I guess it's true, because he's definitely not the guy that would be posting fake information, because you see that all day long on Facebook. I mean, really a lot of fake news. And he was talking about the passing of Eddie Van Halen. I was like, oh no. Eddie Van Halen, there are like a handful of people that I can say really inspired me to become a musician. Rick James is one of them. Ray Parker Jr., Nile Rodgers, Eddie Van Halen, and a few other select people. And what made Eddie Van Halen so special to me was his unique style of playing. Even though people say that he didn't develop that or didn't create it, it doesn't make a difference. If you're good at it, you're just good at it. It really don't make a difference who started it first. You know, but I was just really devastated because he was one of my guitar heroes. You know, when I first started to learn how to play the guitar, I was leaning towards lead. You know, I was trying to play that eruption solo. And one day I finally got to the point I could play it. You know, it's like, whoa, you know. But then I switched over to rhythm and really never looked back on that. But he's going to be missed. You know, he's really going to be missed. You know, one thing that I could say about Eddie Van Halen was it wasn't about the money. You know, a good example of that was when he played the solo on Beat It for Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones. He went into the studio because Quincy called him and said, hey, I need you to, you know, lay a solo. He's like, no problem. He flew out there, did it for free. You know, now his record company, I heard, wasn't too happy about that, but that was just how much he loved to play. You know, because it reminds me of when I first got a professional gig, and it was me and several other people that they were looking at to fill this spot. And what floored them about me was, I said, because they asked me, well, what do you want? You know, as far as money wise, you know, that's kind of going to determine who we select. I said, I don't want no money. I just want to play. It's like, get this man a guitar chord, you know? And that's what it was about for me. You know, some of the first professional gigs I had, I spent more money than I made as far as equipment wise, because I'm like, I want this to be right. I don't want to come in here sloppy, not having the right equipment, not doing the right thing. So I went out and spent some of my own money to make sure that the stuff, that my gear that I had was going to, you know, cut the mustard, you know. So when I think of Eddie Van Halen, I think of him in those terms, as far as it wasn't about the money. Even when he became, you know, very wealthy, it wasn't about the money. I seen in the interview he gave years ago, because, you know, him and David Lee Roth was just kind of not getting along at a certain period of time. And he said what really kind of broke them up was the only time that, you know, David Lee Roth wanted to tour is when he wanted a new Rolex. And he's like, you know, I just like playing. I love playing, you know, and we want to play. And, you know, he doesn't want to play or perform until he's, you know, tapped for money, when he, you know, stock up on money. You know, so I just thought I would post this video because we lost a giant. I mean, all the guitar players around the world realized how much of a giant he was, and how we lost a giant. You know, because it's interesting when I think about R&B music versus rock music. In R&B music, you can have a group, or maybe two guys in the group, that write a lot of material, or majority of material for their band. And then in R&B music, which is kind of different from rock, a lot of those guys can write for other artists. You know, you got the Babyface in LA. They wrote for a lot of artists while they were still with the deal. Jam and Lewis, you know, did a lot when they were at the time. They were producing other artists. That's what actually got them fired from the Prince camp. And in rock and roll, they really don't do that. Because I said to myself, if they did that, Eddie Van Halen, or should I say, you know, Van Halen would have written a lot of stuff for other rock artists. Because when we think of them, you know, we think of Eddie's extraordinary playing style, David Lee Roth's showmanship and the singing, the brothers drumming, and the bass players playing, you know, his part and hitting those high notes. Because I'm like, who's the guy hitting those high notes? And it was the bass player. And actually, I think he's from Chicago, Illinois. But that's the difference kind of between, or there's some difference in rock and R&B, because those guys were not only great musicians, they were great writers. You know, all that stuff that I heard on those records, none of them were fillers. They were well-written songs. I think the closest thing to Eddie Van Halen doing something outside the band, he did a production for another group. And unfortunately, the group didn't take off. I found the CD in one of these discount bins, because I would love to go to record shops and look in there, because I'm like, you know, you hear the established artists all day long on the radio, sometimes too much. I'm like, I want to hear a new sound, you know, a band I never heard. And it was a group, I actually did a cover of one of their songs, and if I can find it, you know, I'll leave the link down here. It was called Nothing to Lose. But Eddie Van Halen produced it, and it was like, whoa. You know, when I heard that song, it just blew me away. So, you know, it's interesting that, again, rock musicians, they do not, you know, do a lot of productions for other rock artists. But if they did, you know, I can see Eddie Van Halen, or Van Halen, quote unquote, doing a lot of writing and producing other bands, because, again, we think of them as the band, but they were great songwriters. I mean, extraordinarily great songwriters. But I thought I would just post this video out of respect for Eddie Van Halen, because nothing but love for that guy. You know, like I told you, he was one of my motivators. You know, when I heard that first album I bought, I was like, whoa. Because, you know, being a black guy growing up in the black neighborhood, I listen to everything. As you guys can see on my channel, I listen and I play everything. You know, music is just music. Music don't have color. And that's one great thing about music, that, you know, some of my greatest musicians that I play with, and I consider them dear friends, you know, they weren't all black. They were a mixture of, you know, color spectrum, you know, and that's what I like about music, that it ain't about what I look like. It's about, can he play? You know, because I was in a couple of bands, I was the only black dude, you know, and we were playing white venues. And it's like, who's that black guy up there? And it's like, it ain't about what's up his skin color. It's about, you know, the music in his heart and the love for everything that he likes to play. But I'm going to, you know, just basically just sign off now. But I had to post this video because we lost a giant today. I mean, we lost a giant. And a very humble man. You know, not only an extremely talented man, but just a humble man. And that's what I think a lot of people loved about him. It wasn't that, look at me, I'm one of the world's greatest guitar players. He never came off like that. Same thing with Jimi Hendrix. Never came off like that. I remember in an interview in the 60s with Dick Cavett. Dick Cavett said to him, you're considered one of the greatest guitar players in the world. And I was looking at Jimmy's face, and Jimmy was not happy about that, because Jimmy, like, I just like to play, man. You know, it's not about what I am, or am I better than everybody else? And he said he don't believe that, you know. Humble guy, you know, and I honestly believe that's how he felt. Because, again, the people that have the least talent is the ones that, because, you know, I'm going to share some stories down the line, because I've done this before from time to time. It's called Studio Tales. And I share some of the stories of me playing, you know, and playing with other people, and how some people behave, whether it was good or bad. But again, I'm just going to, you know, sign off. But I had to post a video, because I really wasn't prepared or ready to post anything today. Like I said, I came out of sleep, and I'm about to call my brother, wish him happy birthday, you know. And it's unfortunate, because now every time he has a birthday, it's going to be a remembrance of his birthday and this day. You know, it's devastating today just to wake up to realize that one of your guitar heroes he's no longer here. He's only 65 years old, and had so much still to give us musically, you know. And we thank him for the music that he gave us, because that first album, I think those guys were just almost just out of teenhood. They were like 17, 18, 19 years old. Because I think his brother, I think he was about 17 when they cut that record, when they cut that first album. But I'm going to sign off now. Rest in peace, Mr. Van Halen. We're going to miss you, man. Going to miss you. Till next time, take care. Thanks for watching.